Leah Senior, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you, Greg.
You've got a new album coming out on August 18 called The Music That I Make. Before we chat about that, tell me about the records that were in your parents' record collection. What did you grow up listening to?
Probably mostly the Beatles. Yeah. I, yeah, I my dad like the Who, the Beatles. But my parents didn't actually. My mum sings kind of classical music. I feel like actually I loved going through my dad's cassette tapes. Like he had there was one that it was a recording of just like a radio station from the 60s, and I used to be just totally obsessed with that. Lulu, I remember listening to a lot of when I was a little kid. And the Monkees. Yeah, that kind of thing. All 60s stuff.
The reason I asked, because the first time I listened to your new album, it took me back to the late 60s, early 70s, and folk singers like Judee Sill and Judy Collins, that warm analog kind of album. And I was wondering if that kind of album was in the collection.
No, not really. I feel like I've had to seek that out for myself. Yeah, I'm definitely into that kind of music, but probably listened to it more from my late teens up until now.
Did you have a sonic vision as a whole for the album? Were there benchmark albums that you thought, I'd like it to sound like this?
This album, I feel no. I mean, I think generally when like I recorded at home with my partner Jessie, and I think generally we think about just whatever's going to serve each particular song. But I guess, because I love nostalgic music, we probably choose to record it onto tape and do it, the old way kind of thing. But yeah, I don't think I had one particular sound or album that I was going for with this. It was just kind of whatever would sound the best for me.
Yeah, I believe many or all of the songs were written at home in Anglesea. Is that right?
Yeah, some of them were written in Preston, and then we moved, and I sort of finished writing the album here. Yeah.
So, how much do your surroundings affect your songwriting?
Yeah, I think they affected a lot. I feel like I'm really I'm easily influenced by the people around me, and yeah, probably the environment as well. I think well, the songs, I started writing these songs in a lockdown, and then halfway through lockdown we kind of moved to Anglesea, and I feel like being away from the city maybe it's given me a greater feeling of independence, or like I'm just doing my own thing and I don't care what anyone else is doing. And I also think just like the peace and quiet down here has probably come across in some of the more gentle stuff that's on the record. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a note taker? Do you have an archive of phrases and words and melodies that you come back to, or would you prefer to start and finish a song in one concentrated effort?
Both. Anyway, I feel like I feel like I do it anyway and every way I can. I write notes. I like to try and write little poems as well. I do free association writing as fast as I can. If I get stuck with a song, I might then just play the chords and like go through my notebook and see if a phrase jumps out. Or I'll just sit down in a session and write, a song in its entirety as well. I feel like anything that helps get a song out is good, and so I just use all the tools I can.
Yeah.
I really love, like, I'm a very process driven person. I love the process, and chipping away at things.
There are guitar-based songs and piano-based songs on the album. Did you find you write a different kind of song on guitar than piano?
Yeah, way different. Definitely. I feel like piano, my like more pop sensibility comes out, and just different chord choices. Whereas guitar, it's probably a little more straight down the line kind of folk style songs.
Yeah. The music that I make is the title track. Why was that so important that it was the title track?
I think this album, I am the most introspective but lyrically direct. And I feel like a lot of the themes, a lot of the things that I was thinking about whilst making this album were, I guess I was questioning the motivations behind why I make, why I create, why I write songs, or why I paint, and wondering about just like, to what extent is it this like pure, lovely, creative kind of thing, and to what extent is it just this thing of I'm trying to validate my fragile ego and impress and bolster myself up, and to what extent I want to be liked, or where's my independence, or so the music that I make, I feel like it was just the right kind of most direct title. It's the title track of the song that kind of propelled me in this direction.
The track Downpour is a very evocative instrumental. Is it what the label suggests, written inside while it was raining outside, or is it more to it than that?
I went through a phase of writing lots of little guitar instrumentals, and actually I would have been writing it. I don't think it was actually raining while I wrote it, if I'm going to be honest, but I just felt like I wanted the second side of the album to have that. That's the setting that I imagined listening to it in. I imagined like driving down a road and it pouring rain, for both Downpour and The Fig. So I wanted to kind of just put it in there and be obvious about it.
Yeah. Where Am I Now, I think, is the current single. Clearly a piano song, a song of self-reflection. Tell me about that song coming together.
That was what was I? That was written at my place in Raglan Street. I think in a few sittings. But it's kind of hard to know what to say about those songs, because I guess they're just sort of true statements of how I feel. I feel like it's kind of apparent. It's just questioning. Yeah, again, I guess that song is centered around sorry, I'm slightly distracted. To what extent creativity makes me feel liberated and free, and to what extent it kind of binds me in the way that my self-esteem is totally wrapped up in the outcome of what I make.
Yeah. Is there a track on the album that's closer to your heart than others?
I would have to say probably the music that I make, but probably only because it was the first one that put me on this trajectory, and that started a kind of new thing.
Yeah. You've got a beautiful guitar sound that you achieve on the album. Tell me about your main guitar. Is there a story behind how you acquired it?
Well, I started off playing a nylon string, and it just wasn't cutting it. So I actually just pinched my partner's guitar, which is a Sierra. It's a big, beautiful kind of looks similar to one of those big Martin guitars, but it's just got a beautiful sound. So it's not even my own guitar. I'm not a very sort of I'm really genuinely not a materialistic person, and I struggle to to really think about that stuff. I mean, I care very much about how things sound, but yeah, I'll just sort of pick up whatever comes my way, try and make it sound okay.
So who else have you got playing on the album?
I have my partner Jesse, who plays guitar and piano as well. He plays some of that beautiful piano on the Clearest View song and on Greed is a Cloud. And then I've got Luke Brennan on drums. He played in Big Smoke, and he's also everyone I play with, they're all pretty beautiful musicians in their own right. And then I've got Jack Robbins as well, who plays bass, and his project is called Forever Sun. And then my sister sings harmonies with me, my sister Andy.
This is your fourth album.
Yep.
What do you know about recording now that you didn't the first time you recorded?
Oh, I feel like I know so much more. I guess I just know so much. I feel like I've gotten quite particular with how I like things to sound. Probably particularly with my vocals, even the drums. I just yeah, I feel like I have a real sense of myself and the way I like things to sound. That said, I don't know how to do it. I just sort of describe things, and Jesse's the master at that. You know, he does it. He does all the actual technical stuff. I just, give him hell.
Yeah. The cover art, tell me about the story behind that.
Oh yeah, so that's a beautiful little illustration that my friend and old housemate Ash Goodall designed for me. Yeah, I just felt like I was looking at through a bunch of these beautiful old books of illustrated Russian fairy tales, and I was just super into the aesthetic, so I kind of sent them to her as to Ash's reference photos, but then she kind of did it in her own way, which is lovely.
Yeah. So who are the artists that you look at and think, I'd like a career like that?
That's a really good question. I don't know, because I feel like you never know how something actually feels. I guess the artist, I mean, it's probably a cliche to say, but the artist I probably have the most respect for is someone like Joni Mitchell, because she really forged her own path and didn't care, wasn't bound by some trying to be commercial, and just kind of kept experimenting and going her own way. I think I like artists like that. I like artists that just keep making and experimenting throughout their whole career, no matter how big or small they are. That doesn't really worry me.
You toured America last year with King Gizzard.
Yeah,
what were some of the highlights for you?
that whole experience was like a crazy dream. I really didn't know what to expect, and it was just incredible. I feel like the whole tour, first of all, it was just amazing to actually be there after the few years of having just going through the visa process for America is absolutely insane, and I had to do it twice because obviously the tour fell through twice in a row. So I was just kind of ready for anything. I didn't care what happened because it was just amazing to be there. But the highlights, I guess, one of the shows that was the most fun was actually in Detroit. It was in this crazy, huge building that was kind of partly abandoned, partly full of this weird, like, pagan, witchy imagery everywhere. And we kind of just snuck past the security guards and had a really fun time exploring that place. There was like beat up grand pianos in every room, and like you'd open the door and there was just a theater with one chair and a spotlight. And it was a Masonic temple. That's what it was. So that was cool. But also, I guess, just playing the Greek theater in Berkeley was really incredible. Red Rocks was also obviously just insane to to be at a venue like that and look at all the, you know, the musicians that I admire on the wall. And it was just, the whole thing was very surreal and you know, just so different to what I'm used to. I'm used to playing to tiny rooms. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. You're touring this album through August and September. Will they be solo dates, or are you taking some musicians out with you?
No, I'm taking musicians to all of the shows. Most of them will be full band. There's a couple in the smaller venues in the country that'll probably be more like duo or trio. But yeah, mostly with the band, which I'm really excited about. I feel like we've just gotten so much better as a band together, and we're such a unit now, and it's really fun. And I've got a whole bunch of new songs as well that I'm excited to play.
Yeah. So after the tour, what are the plans for heading into 2024?
Well, actually, after the Australian tour, we're going to try and go back to America and do our own headline show in October. And then I guess things will, I'll just sort of see. It could be a total disaster, or it could be the start of something. I think 2024, I'd like to just play more. I've got heaps of songs that I've got a couple of albums that I need to make, and some collaborative stuff as well. I just kind of want to, you know, just keep doing what I'm doing. Probably playing a little more shows maybe in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Well, the music that I make is out on August 18. All the best with the album. It's been great to chat.
Thank you so much. Nice to talk.